We are at HGC number 48. Last week we ended the show with the Syndicate and Untouchables teaming up to kind of beat up a lot of our baby faces. Sid Streets isn't on the card tonight to kind of sell that beatdown. Dusty Streets was beat up by the Untouchables the previous week, so he still hasn't been seen since that. And Jeb Langley will be on the card, actually in pretty prominent position. We're giving him a pretty steady push here, actually. Other things of note is Cowboy and Liberty. Friendship is on the rocks, as I just love my melodramatic relationship drama, I guess, between the Monty Walker, Jesse Christian stuff and that. Speaking of Jesse Christian, him and RP Jr. are actually defending the titles in our main event. We'll just get to it. But I'm hoping for a good card. Charlie Homicide, we try him with Peter Valentine just because why not? Versus Young Guns, and no chemistry luck there, but that's fine. We do start off the show with Professor Nero kind of baiting RP Jr. into agreeing to defend the titles tonight. Normally I would have started off with like Ripcord and Eric Tyler cutting a promo here, but that's actually gonna be the lead in the main event. Figured to maximize our ratings. Um, so yeah, pretty basic angle here. The only people, Professor Nero is talking, RP Jr. is talking, and then Coach Dick and Jesse are not involved. They're just subjects or whatever. And it's pretty much Professor Nero manipulating RP Jr. to agreeing putting titles on the line tonight versus Demons of Rage. With I'm not sure as a main event. I'm not sure how's it going to do with RP Jr. being a heel, Jesse being a babyface versus two heels. I'm hoping for 70s, but we'll see. After that, we have awful. Damian Carville, Troy Tornado, Flapjack Flanagan, and Rico Santana will face off in a fatal four-way next week, with the winner of that facing Ripcord, and they will fill in Sid Street's place. So it's gonna be Sid Streets versus Ripcord, but I didn't want to do that on free TV, so to speak, as I think that can be honestly a total mayhem type main event match. If things go different, that's one that could be a plan here. But we have Carville, Troy, Flapjack, and Rico. Obviously, kind of like a mix of where they're placing the card, but you got to think Money Walker's involved in a feud with Jack Bruce, Alex Braun, Dark Eagle. Then we have Cowboy Liberty all involved in the international title scene. Jeb Langley's already in a tournament. The Blazing Flames are mixing up with BLZ Bub. So kind of just the nature of limited, honestly. Now that I say this, I did sign Steve Flash. This would have been a cool way to bring him in. Like have him bring, but maybe have like Steve Flash come in, win the Fatal Four Way. Then he goes and puts on like a hell of a match because none of these guys are well yeah well come on, none of these guys are gonna beat Ripcord. So I could have done like that. Steve Flash comes and wins the Fatal Four Way triumphantly, then faces Ripcord in the main event in his second week. Um, Maybe we do that. We write that in somehow. I might do that. We'll see. Um, but yeah, then we follow that up with Cruiserweight storyline we've been going. Monty Walker pins Jack Bruce. I would have had Dark Eagle, not Dark Eagle. I would have had Alex Braun turn on Jack Bruce, so to speak, kind of just back away. Um, let Jack get beat down by Monty Walker and Dark Eagle, just as a way to sorry, I had to pause. I had to like a sneeze. Allergy season. Sorry. But yeah, pretty much the baby faces get the win here, and the heels. The heels don't get along because their egos can't like be cohesive together. Versus baby faces can't put their BS aside. So we get Monty Walker here. This is going to lead to like a triple threat number one contendership match or one-on-one type deal with one of the baby faces versus Jack Bruce at the pay-per-view. We follow that up with Big Trouble's in-ring debut. He defeats Jason Jackson here in a wild brawl match. Jason Jackson, pretty solid rating for a wild brawl. Another solid rating period. I should give him a push here soon. It's just we're pretty like so Rico Santana's mid 50s babyface, mid 50s popularity babyface. He's in his 30s in age. So like I can't have him lose too much because his popularity will get hurt. Like when he loses, I want it to be like to like a Tommy Cornell, Brent Hill, who can we're pushing, not just as like a showcase or a just a filler, so to speak. Speaking of people, well, not fillers, well, it's kind of filler feud. We have Beelzebub and Travis Henry promising they're going to take their rage out in the Blazing Flames, and the Blazing Flames kind of like talking trash back. Just continuing this little tag match. This isn't going to lead to a pay-per-view match, I think, maybe. I don't know if I'll drag it out 8 full weeks from pay-per-view to pay-per-view, but could just be like a backup main event in case needed. We followed that up with Jeb Langley talking about his being beaten and bruised by Eric Tyler. Eric Tyler mocks him, says, "You know what? If you're so beaten and bruised, Robert Oxford's gonna take care of you and beat you down, and you won't be able to face me next week in the main event." Which, of course, Jeb Langley defeats Robert Oxford here in a solid matchup with a roll-up. We're selling that Jeb Langley was beaten up pretty good last week. He's been on a little bit of a losing streak, but he stops it here. Picks up a huge win over Robert Oxford. Hopefully gets some popularity boost. I did keep Robert Oxford strong. He was like 48, 49 popularity versus Jeb's was 42. So hopefully we can bring Jeb up to closer at 48, 49 and keep Robert there. So I'm excited. The Jeb Langley push kind of came out of nowhere for me. I talked about it to you guys, but like, I never really planned on it. But I mean, it's hard to ignore the success compared to other guys. It's like, pulling teeth. Um, Speaking of pulling teeth, we have the Vessies demanding they want their tag title rematch. Um, Pretty much, I need like one more angle in the card. I feel like this would be like the Vessies popping off at RP Jr. cheating over them and then defending the titles tonight and kind of keeping their names in the mix in the tag division. We follow that up with Tommy Cornell and Barry Bowen going up to Liberty backstage, asking where Liberty where his girlfriend Cowboy is, and he's nothing. This could lead to Liberty, you know, this is going to lead to another angle next week that will lead to another angle leading to a main event of Liberty and Cowboy versus Tommy and Barry. But this is like the start of that where I would have Tommy Cornell go up to Liberty, see you're all alone. Where's your boy Cowboy? Where's your girlfriend? Like, this is the 90s. Um, you know, but like calling Cowboy's girlfriend, like very bully, typical jock behavior that I feel like would fit the Tommy Cornell character that we are portraying. We wouldn't see that today in today's day and age, but I feel like of the time, it's acceptable to use it. No offense to anybody or anything, you know what I mean? But just, boys will be boys kind of moment here. Speaking of boys will be boys, we have Brent Hill picking up a win over Richard Blood. Richard Blood is that guy that can be, this is filler, but testing like Brent Hill, see like where I'm getting like performance wise with him because it's like, do I just pull the trigger on Tommy Cornell even though he's like 19, or do I like do the steady push that I kind of want to do in my head and just push Brent Hill and then bring Tommy up and then have like the opposite. But like if Brent Hill is not producing and he's not getting over, which he's not getting popularity here, but that's like my logic is like, do I just pull the trigger? So I'm not really sure. Now we have Eric Tyler and Ripcord saying, you know, they necessarily aren't joining up the Syndicate and Untouchables, but they have each other's back going into the tournament with the winner for sure going to beat Sam Strong, and then they're going to give the other guy a title shot or something like that. Pretty much just giving their explanation as to why they teamed up to beat up the babyfaces last week. It doesn't need to be complex. It could just be we all agree that Sam Strong's the real piece of work in the company. Not we don't need to fight each other. We need to fight him. And then in the main event, that was pretty solid. The All-Pro duo defeat Demon's Rage. RP Jr. cheats to win again, as I feel like it continues his is he good enough to be champion in HGC storyline that we kind of have going. Um, I mean, I'm fine with that rating as a main event. I'm fine with the rating as a show. I kind of figured with I wanted to do Jeb versus Robert before I do Jeb and Eric as a way to hopefully to get as best ratings I can out of Jeb and Eric. And just like, we got 6 more weeks going into this. But, pretty much, no, I didn't mean to click that. Sorry about that. But yeah, pretty much that was like a transitional show where it's like, 8 weeks build. There's gonna be shows in there that aren't duds, but like, I feel like this week compared to last week wasn't as like must see. But yeah, I mean, the only thing is like the Tommy Cornell Barry Bowen thing feels kind of forced, but it was just a matter of like I needed to start something there to like that might okay, we're 5 weeks away. So next week will be 5, 4, 3. So we'll have like 3 weeks of build after the tournament plays out. And to be honest, like I think 73 is probably our floor for show ratings because I feel we got to when we go to Ace, we're gonna have to keep up good ratings. I think SWF crushed us. Oh, barely, man. Christian Faith versus Ultima and in DQ. It's kind of interesting that rating wasn't so great compared. I guess maybe because Ultima's popularity, but you know. Okay, we didn't sign Ultima. This is news to me. He didn't even. That's so strange. I feel like when did that happen? 10 days ago. I don't know. Maybe I just overlooked it. That's fine. To be honest, I was thinking between Ultima and Silver Shark. I liked Ultima for an amazing babyface and Mr. Finale, the Giving Performer, but we'll probably go from him to Silver Shark, who's amazing babyface, comedic worker. But the popular, like, it's another guy we're gonna have to push. Um, that is kind of disappointing that we're not bringing Ultima, but we are bringing in Steve Flash. We still got to sign Philip Roberts. I haven't forgot. Oh my God, hopefully he didn't sign somewhere. Dropping the ball here. Okay, he's with CZCW. Not a big deal. Honestly, that helps us because they're in the Southwest, so maybe they can get him over a little bit. His popularity in the tri-state's going up. Um, just seeing how Nemesis has been doing with Dave. But yeah, so this week, a little bit of a transitional week. Not. I kind of wish I thought of the Steve Flash thing, but I guess that's how we could. I need when I talk about like the roster structure is I feel like we're missing like that mid card. Well, we're gonna have that mid card team here soon, like heel team. I can let you imagine who might be our champions. Andy, Cornell and Bowen. But like we need like an authority figure type role, like a Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce right now for Raw and SmackDown, like something like that. Just doesn't need to be. It's just a figurehead for management. I feel like that's just such an easy way to book. I suggest everybody have that. And I know a lot of people hate it, but again, 97, Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon were pretty much almost in full swing at this point. Well, we're almost at Survivor Series 97, but you get it. Yeah, so all right, we'll cut it off here. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know who you would pick for an authority figure. Because there's not really, I mean, Mayhem Midian would be the one I was thinking, but I don't really wanna. So we'll have to see. Because he doesn't have like any tie-in to like I don't have any attachment to him or tie-in HGC. But I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you for watching.